Well, there's this huge fuck the system thing that metalheads have, and I'm not gonna lie, like I'm kind of into that too.
Oh, I'm completely into it, but
I feel like there's a difference. I'm not saying death metal will ever go mainstream. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Shredheads, and today our topic is whether or not metal can become mainstream. I think for the majority of people, you might just be like, oh, fuck no, easy answer, it won't. But I think there's a lot of details here that could actually change your perspective on that. So if you want to go ahead and start, then that would be cool.
So honestly, I feel like one of the main things is like, if you look in popular culture, and honestly, I'm not really a fan of most pop culture, but it would be nice seeing metal getting more popular.
For sure.
But I feel like a lot of times, well, if you look at mainstream music, they kind of make a persona out of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That hardly happens.
They need like a good frontman. Yeah.
I mean, it used to. I mean, like, look at, bands like Dio or, like they actually made, or Judas Priest, if you look put on a show and had a persona. Yeah. Like, everyone knows who Rob Halford was. Mm-hmm. Or everyone knows who Ozzy Osbourne is.
Well, this whole thing of, like, metal artists having, like, a solo career, that's kind of not a big thing anymore.
No, not really.
If you look at some of the most popular metal frontmen, they had solo careers, like Ozzy and Dio. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's something that they should look into or just, like, start doing. If you look at the bands right now that are doing really good in metal, they have really good frontmen.
Like, one of the most, they have the most listeners on YouTube, and I think Punk Rock MBA mentioned this, but I think it's Travis Scott or something like that.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking beyond
he
popular.
Blew up.
Yeah,
he fucking blew up, and I don't know exactly all the reasons why, but probably because he did make a persona for himself. Another thing is, I feel like a lot of metalheads don't interact with their fans as much as they might.
Yeah, no. Well, there's this huge fuck the system thing that metalheads have, and I'm not going to lie, like, I'm kind of into that too.
Oh, I'm completely into it, but
I feel like there's a difference. I'm not saying death metal will ever go mainstream. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But I think that as a whole, mainstream music has no metal influence anymore. Like, I mean, there's a lot of rap that's influenced by metal, but I'm saying, like, you're not going to hear heavy guitar in a new song or anything like that, or screaming or any of that anymore. But I do want to say that I think that if I was going to say the closest to mainstream right now in metal is probably
Bring Me the Horizon.
Probably them, and then also I was going to say Fallen in Reverse.
Oh, definitely Fallen, yeah.
Like, dude, their new single, Popular Monster, fuck.
I love it.
The rapping, like, I feel like it will take some people to get used to, but it's pretty fucking good.
Well, what was that first song that he rapped in? Shit, what was
like
it
the
called?
Very first song he rapped in?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but I wasn't really a fan at first.
Yeah, well, he wasn't, like, a great rapper right off the bat. But
Popular Monster, I feel like it was actually good.
Yeah, I do too.
It flowed pretty well.
It kind of just sounds different. Like, it's not like he's attempting Drake or something,
Well, and that's the thing. I think if metal wants to become more mainstream, they also might take a few hints from other genres.
For sure.
Or might even genre blend, which I'm actually a big fan of if you can pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, Linkin Park definitely blew up.
Oh, shit.
I think
for sure.
And a lot of people might say, well, they're sold out. I don't fucking buy that.
If they sold out, then Bring Me the Horizon has sold out.
And I just think that's a bullshit way to look at it. Now, I mean, I personally think bands like Metallica, and I know we shit on Metallica all the time, but they did kind of sell out.
That is probably the definition of selling out, But because what they did, they didn't really take a creative part of them and sell out with it. It was kind of just like, oh, people like this, I'm gonna play this every fucking time, whereas Bring Me the Horizon, they've changed and they've brought something to the mainstream area,
and it's unique.
Yeah,
it's really unique.
That's what I'm saying. It's creative, and it's not some
I mean, listen to Metallica's newest album. It's generic. Yeah, it's really not that great. it's not really anything to like write home about.
Mm-mm.
And maybe it's not. I'm not saying it's shit. Like it's not shit. And there's a couple good songs on there, but
So one of the things I want to talk about is like, what do you think metal could do better in order to get to that mainstream area? And I'll go ahead and I'll start this off.
yeah,
I think one of the things they need to do, and I've seen it through this year, like probably this is one of the first years I've seen metal bands do this, but maybe I wasn't paying attention, is they got to release more music. Like, as dumb as it sounds to a metalhead, you can't wait 5 years to release music. I get it. Tool does it, and they get popular. Slipknot did it, they get popular. But if you want to be mainstream, you have to release a fuckload of music, and they're not really doing it.
I mean, there is an argument. Like, okay, first of all, like whether a band actually wants to become mainstream. Like I'm not to go on a tangent.
They
here, but,
want to
like,
they want to make a living doing it, and a lot of metal
I know, but,
bands
like,
that you would go
Tool-
to see barely make a living.
Well, that's true. That's true. And maybe they should release new music, but then there's also a possibility of it becoming shit.
All right, so the argument against this is the famous artist Picasso, I think is his name, right?
Yeah.
He had like thousands and thousands of art pieces. There was like 5,200 of them specific
Yeah.
thing, right? And you can only remember a few of them. But the reason he got so fucking big was because he was pumping art out all the time. And sure, no one remembers him for his unpopular pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But if you release so much music all the time,
That's true.
and you make 4 hits, 5 hits, it doesn't matter. You made 5 hits, even if 20 of them are throwaways. I mean, it kind of bothers me too. I'd rather see an album with 12 amazing songs than like 3 hits and then the rest of them being kind of throwaways. But on an intellectual level, I think you got to be honest that they kind of got to release more music.
Well, I feel like, I mean, because there's albums, like, when they do release more music, there might be more songs that reach a broader horizon. You know? So I agree with you to a certain extent, but when it comes to bands like Tool or Slipknot, I don't want them to release an album every year.
No, I mean, like, I get that argument, you know, but especially for metalcore, I feel like it's very important for metalcore because it's hard enough to stick out in a metalcore genre.
Yeah.
I think in order to do it, you just have to fucking put out a lot of work. If you look at August Burns Red, that's how they've stuck out.
Well, and
honestly.
maybe it's not just albums, maybe EPs and singles. And,
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, While She Sleeps, they released an album this year, and then they just released a new single called "Faker's Plague."
well, Bring Me the Horizon kind of did the same thing.
Oh yeah, they did.
And they're releasing an EP soon.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Wait, shit.
yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, I thought they released it already.
Did they release it?
I'm pretty
Fuck,
sure they
didn't
did, and I
check it out.
forgot to look into
Oh,
it. Fuck.
fuck.
So
I
then
need to check that out. After
another
this shit.
band that's done that is Bad Omens. Bad Omens released an album this year at the beginning, or like I think it was like summertime, and then they just released a new single. And like whether or not all of it is good, it doesn't really matter in my opinion. I think you just have to show your fans that you're going to be releasing music.
Well, and it's kind of like with anything. I do agree. Like, if you want to be a good YouTuber, like Jared Dines for like 50 days, I think, posted a video every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually boosted his popularity.
Yeah, like
And,
it
like-
can definitely harm the quality of what you're doing.
But I mean, if you
sometimes-
watched his videos, they didn't. The quality didn't really go down that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he said it was hard to find like videos of what to do, but the quality didn't really go down that much.
Yeah, I think definitely like these are things that metal needs to do better. More like better frontmen, not necessarily better. It's not that everyone is like a bad frontman right now, but I think
But like stand out.
yeah, they need to make
like,
themselves
make a persona.
like a persona, and I think Ronnie Radke does a good job of that. I think God, who's another good frontman? I mean, Corey Taylor's pretty good. Franz.
I mean, everyone, like, especially in the metal genre, knows who Franz is. I
Yeah.
mean, whether you hate him or not.
I mean,
he's-
and I would understand if you kind of did hate him.
I mean, same with Ronnie Radke, but like, honestly, I mean, think about this. How many people hate Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
a lot of people do.
I feel like that's kind of died off, if I'm being honest. Because
now,
like everyone kind of
but-
just respects him. They're like, shit. I mean, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do whatever he wants.
Well, it's kind of like Ozzy. I feel like at first maybe people were like, "What the fuck? This guy's biting heads off of bats and shit."
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Like you gotta have some shock value. I feel like all those guys do.
And that's why I think Marilyn Manson did blow up. I mean, he really did make a persona out of himself. I mean, I think he was at the VMAs. He gave a speech about like anti-Christianity and anti-fascism, and like he's dressed all satanic and shit, and people are just like, "What the fuck is this?" You know?
Yeah.
And not a lot of metalcore bands or newer metal really do that anymore.
No, a lot of them kind of like don't want to be good frontmen, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not like they hate the fans or anything, but I just feel like they don't try very hard to be at the center of attention, which I kind of get, because like you want the rest of your band to be recognized too. But also, if you're the frontman and you get really popular, that helps your band too. So like, I think it would benefit the whole band, obviously.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So yeah, that's today's episode. Hopefully metal can go a little more mainstream. I mean, I know there's a lot of metalheads that kind of don't want it to, and I get that, but we'll just keep fucking death metal to ourselves. You know, they don't need to take that, and maybe hardcore too. I feel like that has a chance of getting popular though.
Well, punk kind of got pretty big, and
it did,
kinda went mainstream.
And I feel like, a lot of people just haven't listened to hardcore, and there is one last
it's hard
thing.
to get used to.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel like one last thing I want to just throw in there. I feel like one thing has to go, and that's the stigma against screaming in music.
Screaming is great.
Screaming, it adds so much emotion. It adds so much to a song. I feel like it can really build a song.
I mean, listen to an angry song without screaming, and it doesn't sound as angry.
Or if it's just like smooth the whole time, and then at the bridge you're fucking screaming. I mean, that adds a lot of emotion and intensity to a song.
Well,
I feel like it's
some bands
essential.
that do that too. Like they won't scream the whole time, but they'll add screaming to parts of it, and it sounds really good.
Popular Monster kind of did that.
Yeah.
You know, that song.
Well, yeah, it wasn't really that heavy until the breakdown.
Yeah, which really fucking sold it.
And I think Fallen in Reverse, as much hate as they get, they do really good about that.
For sure. So yeah, all these things would contribute to making metal bands a better like mainstream attention, and hopefully we can see some of our favorite bands get up there. We'll catch you next time. Stick around, and we're going to have an episode with Evan one of these days. Our episode kind of got pushed back because of plans falling through, but that's all right. We'll be back. Hold up. Don't go yet, because today we want to actually just bring up another thing, is that we are giving away these 3 vinyls, and I'm sure you've probably heard at this point, but if you haven't, all you got to do is go to my last video, and you got to comment on that video, and just by doing that, you'll have a chance at winning one of these 3 vinyls. And then if you don't have a record player, go ahead and don't worry about it. Just enter the giveaway, and we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, honestly, these are really good albums. So.
Hell yeah. 2 of my favorite albums of the year right there, and then we got the Homesick by A Day to Remember,
and this is
which is a
completely
classic.
Free, so why not just
just do it. It's free. Just
do it.
comment.
Just fucking do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Do it.